Well, hi Aries, welcome to Universal Guidance Tarot. It's time for reading. I have shuffled these cards very, very well. This is a two-part reading. The overall energy of this reading will be in the center card of the first part of the reading. So Aries, if you feel compelled, please like and subscribe. Otherwise, let's get started. From the universe, Aries, what is it that you need to know? What is coming up? Any advice would be so welcome. Out for Aries, please. That goes on top. Okay, for Aries, what do they need to know coming up, universe? Please let us know. Okay, let's see what we have. Let's see. For Aries. Okay. So we have 3 cards left over. Let me turn that one around, put them down. So, Aries, the overall energy of your entire reading is the Queen of Swords. Well, the Queen of Swords, this is air, Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius that might be strong in your chart or someone else's chart around this reading. But the energy is what's most important, and they're all male or female. So the energy of this card is seeking and speaking the truth through conversation. So really trying to get your information clear and precise, okay? And we're going to find out what that's about. Up here in your highest energy is the 4 of Wands. This is a very, very strong soulmate connection. There's a union of 2 people here. There's a lot of love and there's a lot of joy associated with this connection. Also, there is this, it can be about commitment and it can be about marriage and celebrating marriage. Now, here are the 2 strongest energy cards of your whole reading. So what this tells me is there's going to be some kind of truthful communication, some kind of clear communication that needs to happen and will happen about this union with a very strong soulmate. Let's keep reading. Right above the Queen of Swords and next to the 4 of Wands is the 2 of Wands. Yeah, you're wondering what your future is going to look like, and that's part of the reason you need this conversation. You're holding on to a staff of fresh starts and new beginnings with one hand, and you're holding the world with the other hand. So, moving into a new life cycle, we have, and it's right next to the 4 of Wands, and it's like you need the truth to find out whether or not you should be moving forward into this more grounded and possibly committed relationship with somebody. So you're wondering what your future is going to look like after having this conversation going on. We have the 3 of Cups right next to the 2 of Wands. This looks like a happy reunion with someone that's coming up. This is someone who's very special to you, and you're wondering, is there a future between the 2 of you? So let's keep reading. I have the 10 of Cups under the 4 of Wands and next to the Queen of Swords. So the 10 of Cups, this is an equal exchange of sunshine and rainbows. It's an equal exchange of love. There's lots of sunshine and rainbows going on here. This is commitment. This is companionship with another person. There's children playing. This can signify a family type oriented card. It could just signify the union of a couple of people with lots of love. This is 10 cups. Like I say, you can't get more love. This is an equal exchange. And I think part of your conversation, because this 10 of cups is right next to the Queen of Swords, is about whether or not the love is there, whether or not you feel like this can last and is very sincere. And it is what it looks like. That's what you're wondering. Is this what it looks like? Because you have questions, because I have the Knight of Wands next to the Queen of Swords and under the 3 of Cups. Well, this is someone who runs in and out of your life. It's like, oh, it's an energy. They come in with the staff of fresh starts and new beginnings, and they leave with the staff of passion in a lot of cases. This could be someone that you're just wondering if they are this type of energy. You might be a little bit like, look, are you going to stick around? Are you going to be in life for the long haul? Are you going to at least try to be in life for the long haul? Or are you going to run off? So this tells me that there has been people who have been in and out of your life that have just kind of taken advantage of you and your kindness, your heart. So this reunion, though, is a very happy reunion that's coming in, but there looks like there needs to be some conversation that's going to go back and forth about this connection. I have the Eight of Swords right under the Ten of Cups. The Eight of Swords is about, there's a lot of swords of truth and clarity around you. You're bound, you're feeling bound. You're blindfolded, but your feet are free, your mouth is free. But you don't see all those swords of truth and clarity around you. Now, this could be past energy, this could be present energy. But I feel like this is part of this conversation is you need to be clear about your destination in this relationship with this person who you've been apart from, I don't know how long, and you're coming back together. So you definitely need to know what you can expect or what they expect from this relationship. So you don't want, this is a card of illusion because the feet are not bound, the mouth is not bound. So it's almost like you have stayed in these relationships that you were just hoping were the Ten of Cups, without looking at the red flags, without looking at the truth, without looking at the clarity, and hoping that it just works its way out or works its way through. So you've been receiving, because you know this is another thing. It's right next to the Eight of Swords. We have the Page of Cups. So what's one thing you didn't really want to look at is that the loves that you were receiving before had fish in them. These cups. This is a cup of love. It can only hold half a cup because the fish is in there. So this is half-hearted love that's being presented to you. And you were more like living in this place where you were looking at it as if it was the Ten of Cups when it was really the Page of Cups. So you've learned, it looks like you've learned from your past, and now whoever it is that's coming in, you're going to make darn sure they're not the Knight of Wands. You want to make sure that they stick around, because the Knight of Wands is not grounded. The Knight of Wands is not stable or secure, and they're very selfish and they're very self-centered, and they just, they come and they leave, and so you want to make sure that this reunion is not with someone that you're so happy to see, but they're going to end up running out of your life. I have the Queen of Wands under the Knight of Wands and next to the Page of Cups. This is your card, Aries. This is fire, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. So this is your reading, and what you're doing here is you're holding onto a staff of fresh starts and new beginnings, just like you are with the Two of Wands. And you're also holding a sunflower, and you're holding, or not holding, but there's a cat in the picture. This is the most passionate card in the whole deck. You're a very passionate person. Wherever you put your love, you put your passion, and that's part of the reason that you were accepting these Page of Cups and not really dealing with them, not really seeing the truth about prior relationship, at least one. Your passions lie where your love lies. So if you love gardens, your passions are there. You love animals, your passions are there. You love somebody, your passion is there. You love your work, your passion is there. You're a very passionate person, and you are ready to move forward. This is what you're looking for. Wow. Let's take out the rest of this reading. I am going to pull an angel card and a law of attraction card at the end of the reading. Let's see what kind of advice the universe will have for you. Let's take out more cards. We've got the second part of this reading for Aries to go. Second part of this reading for Aries. I'll get that one. Okay. Looks like we have a lot of cards. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 5 extra cards. Wow, that's the most I think I've ever had in a reading. So, Aries, the Page of Swords. You're on guard. You're on guard about this reunion. You're going into it carefully. You're going into it with your sword up. So in self-protection, that's why you're having this conversation. Very happy to see whoever this is, but your guard is up because of this other energy, this Knight of Wands. Now they have ran in and out of your life. This might be the one. If not, it's just trying to be sure that they're not carrying that energy. So your sword's up. You're in self-protection, which is good. That's fine. I do have the Hermit next to the Page of Swords. This is you seeking your path forward in life. It feels like you're at a crossroads where you're trying to decide what it is exactly you want from life, what you want to do about your future, how you have more than one path in front of you. But if not, you're just trying to find that path that is for you, the right one, the best one. Let me move this closer. So the Hermit, the card for Virgo. Virgo might be strong in your chart or in someone else's chart around this reading. So the Hermit's very spiritual. And the Hermit is shining the lantern right on the Page of Swords, saying that, hey, you're in self-protection mode. I think that they're telling you you're aware of the people around you, so you can trust yourself. You're not like going around swinging that sword with the Page of Swords. It's up. It's just up. You will swing it if you have to. But on the back side of the Hermit is saying there's a soulmate. So this is a soulmate card. This is a sweet offer. It's the beginnings, the young. It's like the young starts of a relationship, but it's very sincere. This is the only cup that's allowed to have anything in it, and it's a flower. And so you might have known this person since college or before, or you have not. But you definitely have known this person in another lifetime, at least one other lifetime. That's why they're a soulmate. So, very sweet energy here. I feel like they're sincere, whoever's coming back in. I have the Ace of Pentacles under the Page of Swords and next to the Knight of Wands. This is the Pentacle. This is the security and stability that you need in a relationship. And look, it's right next to the Knight of Wands. Quite a contrast, because the Knight of Wands is not secure and stable, that energy. Well, the Ace of Pentacles is very secure, very stable, very grounded. It's also about commitment. I mean, is it possible for a commitment down the road with this person that we're talking about, that you will be having a reunion with? So the Ace of Pentacles, you have your sword up because you're just, very much on guard. They better have a pentacle. If they don't have a pentacle, forget it. All right, that's how I feel in this reading. I have the Seven of Pentacles next to the Ace of Pentacles and under the Hermit. So yeah, you waited a long time for the right pentacle to come along. It's like you've waited, this could be years, this could be different relationships, but like some of them come to bud, but they don't blossom and bloom, and you're waiting for that relationship that will blossom and bloom for you. Well, and being under the Hermit, it almost feels like what you've been waiting for is actually coming in. I have the King of Cups right next to the Seven of Pentacles and right under the Six of Cups. This is water. Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer might be strong in someone's chart around this reading. But more importantly, it is the energy. So you have a huge cup of love, Aries. Look at that. Male or female. They're all male or female. You're holding a giant cup of love, but very close. Okay, just like your guard is up over here. You're holding it close. You want to be sure before you hand your love out that this is the right person, the right soulmate to hand your love out to. Now look, on each side of your highest energy, we have soulmate cards. One saying that this is sincere, and the other one is saying that this is a divine soulmate, and it's going to be joyful. This is a joyful soulmate card. This of Wands. It's very spiritual, like divine. It's almost like it's meant to be. And there's commitment involved in this card. There's commitment involved with the Ace of Pentacles. So you're waiting to make sure that this is the right one. You've been through a spiritual lesson. There it is. That's why you need to ask your questions, because you've already been through ignoring red flags, letting people run in and out of your life. the Judgment card, this is your guardian angels and spirit guides. They're blowing the horn down on you, and you've awakened. You've awakened to some of the mistakes that you have made in your choosing your relationships and in not, paying attention to red flags. I think part of the spiritual lesson is the lack of communication. And I think you've learned to maybe ask the questions that should be asked as you go along in a relationship. I think before you were just taking it like hoping that it would just kind of magically be the right relationship without you having to ask any questions or something like that. But you've awakened and you've learned your spiritual lesson. And when you learn a spiritual lesson, you're rewarded by the universe. And here's the reward right above the Judgment card. And look, right next to the Judgment card, I have the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles, this is the slowest moving energy in the whole deck. Well, that horse looks like it's standing still, but you know what? It's bringing a pentacle. And it's right under the Seven of Pentacles. So I feel like what you've been waiting for is actually coming in. I feel like it's coming in with the Ace of Pentacles. I feel like this is your ship that's coming in. You're holding on to that staff of fresh starts and new beginnings, and you're looking out over the world. Look how close I can get that so you can see it. You're looking out over the world for your ship to come in. You're waiting and waiting. Remember the Seven of Pentacles? Waiting. Well, there's a ship there and there and there. And you're just wondering if your ship is out there and if your ship is coming in. Well, with this happy reunion card here and the spiritual lesson you've learned, I believe your ship is coming in. And I believe this is a very special soulmate that has a capability of commitment and groundedness. But you're going to be seeking the truth. You're not going to take anything for granted anymore in relationships. Now, I have a separate little reading over here. I have the Knight of Cups, which is facing the Six of Pentacles. So the Knight of Cups is a sincere love offer. But what ended up is they come in sincerely, they seem sincere, and they end up breadcrumbing you. Have you had any relationships like that? That they seem really, like upfront and honest and sincere about, having a relationship, but then they end up breadcrumbing you and barely feeding enough to the relationship to keep it afloat. So you end up putting in all the work, and then the relationships will fall apart. So then I have these three cards. The Five of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles, and the High Priestess. Well, the Five of Pentacles is you feeling abandoned, left out in the cold, being lonely, left alone. That's the leaving. That's what the Knight of Wands will do to you when they run out of your life. They'll leave you feeling low and sad and just, ugh. And then I have the Three of Pentacles, which tells me that they just, weren't seeing eye to eye with you. They weren't looking at the relationship as if it were to last a very long time. You did not have the meeting of the minds as far as how grounded the relationship should be. And that's why they just kept leaving you out in the cold. Well, your intuition, I have the High Priestess here. This is the card for intuition in the tarot deck. So it says, pull back that pomegranate curtain and pay attention to what yourself is telling you. So don't ignore the red flags, or the green flags for that matter. And if you're telling yourself something or something's nagging at you on the inside, do bring it up in a conversation, okay? So that you can know what's happening rather than just hoping that it will work itself out. Because at the time, when the situation comes up like this, it does not work itself out. It works itself out by communication. So, let's take out an angel card. For Aries, I do think whoever's coming back in here, I think they're sincere. But you do need these conversations. Keep them going. Let's see what your guardian angels and spirit guides have for you. This does not have to do with your reading, but it is something that they want you to hear. It's something they want you to consider or hear or advise. Something like that. Last shuffle. Okay. For Aries. Okay, Aries. Pull you out a card. See what your guardian angels and spirit guides want you to know. There. It's the Three of Emotion. You may pause and read this anytime you want, but I'm going to read it to you. The Three of Emotion. Wonderful news is on its way. Announcements regarding engagements, pregnancies, births, or graduations will be revealed. New friends will be made, or communities of like-minded people will draw closer to one another. Exciting new beginnings or happy endings are just around the corner. That is awesome. So now we are going to pull out a Law of Attraction card. I'm going to shuffle these cards. This is the group of entities. They call themselves Abraham, and they channel themselves through a woman named Esther Hicks. And we're going to see what kind of advice they have that has to do with the Law of Attraction. Oh, cards are being squiggly. Squiggly cards. Oh, there we go. I'll make sure they feel right. And one fell out. That's going to be your card. Let's see what it is. The front says, the law of attraction brings whatever abundance I choose. The back of the card says what Abraham, that group of entities, said about this. So you can pause and read this anytime, but I'm going to read it to you. It says, I want financial prosperity. There are so many wonderful things that are available in this wonderful world, and financial prosperity opens the door to so many of those things. Since the law of attraction responds to thoughts, I have decided to focus predominantly upon the abundance that is possible, understanding that it is only a matter of time before thoughts of prosperity will be matched by the flow of financial prosperity. Since the law of attraction will bring me the object of attention, I choose abundance. So, that is what Abraham has to say for you. So choose abundance, think abundance. Here's the Ace of Pentacles. That is abundance. And you want abundance in love. You want abundance in financial. Keep your mind there, because whatever you put out there, that's what you receive in life. So this is your reading, and I thank you, Aries, for watching Universal Guidance Tarot.